What's up, guys? This is Ryan, and during each of the beginning of the videos for our pick'em, I'm going to have the results for the previous week along with our overall records. As you can see, Chase had a really good week. He went 9-7, and I had a really bad week, and I went 7-9. So expect to see this every week. Start of the video, and I hope you guys enjoy pick'em this week. Thanks.
What's going on, guys? It's Chase, and this is Chase and Ryan's NFL Week 2 Pick'em. And we're going to start off with the game of the week, San Diego and Pats, since Ryan wasn't on that show. So who you got, Ryan?
I'm going to take New England in this game because I think that it will come down to a shootout, I think, because even though the defenses are pretty much equal and they're pretty good, I think that the two quarterbacks are just like over the top elite, and I think that it's going to be a shootout. And then if you get into a shootout with Tom Brady, you're most likely going to lose. So, yeah, that's what I got.
All right, the first game we got Oakland at Buffalo. Oakland D looks pretty strong without Osmore. I think Buffalo was a one-hit wonder last week. I don't see them doing anything of much. With McFadden's big game last week, I think he's going to have another big one. So I'm taking the Raiders. What about you?
Yeah, I got Oakland in this game too. I think Darren McFadden's gonna have a really big game, like you said, and I'm not buying into this Ryan Fitzpatrick stuff. I mean, he played the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm not too sure about the Chiefs this year. I don't know how good their pass defense is. I know they got Brandon Flowers; he's a really good cornerback, but I don't know. I think that was just a fluke, and I'm not saying the Raiders are gonna do anything great this year, but I think McFadden's gonna have a breakout game against Buffalo, just like he did against Denver. So I got Oakland. Forgot to mention this in the video with Chase, but Eric Berry got hurt by Stevie Johnson in the Bills-Chiefs game, so that's probably why Ryan Fitzpatrick had a really big game.
All right, we got Green Bay at Carolina. Cam Newton had a big game last week for his first career game, but I don't think he's gonna do much against Green Bay. Um, I think John Beason's out for the season, so I think Jermichael Finley's gonna be open in the middle of the field. So I think Packers just gonna dominate. So I'm taking the Pack in this one. Who do you got?
Yeah, I got Green Bay winning this game as well. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to continue his dominance. Um, I see James Starks becoming their featured back this year in this game. Ryan Grant didn't look very good last week, but I mean he'll be solid this year. But I think James Starks is going to take over the job. And about Cam Newton, I don't really buy into that amazing game he had. I mean, he played a really bad Arizona Cardinals pass defense, so. Look for Green Bay to shut down Cam Newton, and look for Green Bay to dominate this game.
All right, we have Cleveland at the Colts. The Browns looked fairly decent last week against a horrible Bengals team. Cleveland should have came away with the win, but their lack of not finishing games came into play once again, so they lost. I think since the Colts got blown out, I don't see them coming back and fixing their troubles without Peyton. So I'm just gonna take the Browns in this one. I think Colts gonna have a big day. But what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I got Cleveland winning this game. I just want to say real quick, Kerry Collins, I don't wish that upon anybody in the NFL. I had to go through that for like 5 years. Kerry Collins is absolutely trash. The Colts are going to have a horrible year this year, and I will be kind of on the edge of being happy and sort of upset because, like I said, Kerry Collins he's absolutely horrible, and I know their pain. I can feel it. I think Peyton Hillis is going to have a really big game this game, and I think Colt McCoy is going to continue to make those big throws. So I don't see the Colts even having a chance in this game, to be honest with you, and that's kind of weird to say, but it's the truth.
Yeah, I agree. But all right, next Tampa Bay at Minnesota. Tampa Bay, I think they're affected by the lockout because they didn't show like they were ready for the opener. I don't know. They couldn't really get the run going or anything. Fell behind, but with McNabb in the Minnesota offense, I think it gives them a big boost in offensive plays and able to win games at the end. So I see McNabb making plays for them to win. I think AP is going to have a big day on the Bucks defense. So I'm going to go ahead and take Minnesota. Who are you taking in this game, Ryan?
Well, I think it's going to be a close game, but I got Tampa Bay winning this game. They need to have a bounce back game after last week. LeGarrette Blount, I think he had 5 yards. I think he's going to find the end zone in this game. They're going to have a really hard time shutting down Adrian Peterson, but I think Donovan McNabb is going to have to pass the ball a lot more against Tampa Bay, and I don't think he can make those big throws that they need. I mean, I think it's going to be a really good game, really close, but I think it's going to come down to more of a defensive game, and I think Tampa Bay will win that game on that side of the ball.
All right, next game, Kansas City at Detroit. I think even with Matt Castle starting last week, I think those ribs are still bothering him. So I think that's probably why he had a bad game. Maybe, maybe not. But see, last week Lions were my sleeper pick, and they came through. And I just think Matthew Stafford and Calvin, they're going to be a strong duo. So I think they're going to do it again, this weekend at home. So that place can get loud if Detroit gets going. So I'm going to be taking the Lions this week once again. So what about you?
Yeah, I got Detroit winning this game. Detroit had a really big win against Tampa Bay, and it really showed that Detroit is serious this year. And I think Matt Stafford's going to have a really big game against Kansas City. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick just absolutely smoked them last week for 4 touchdowns. And yeah, I don't really need to say much about that. I mean, Kansas City, I don't think Matt Castle's going to get it going until another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because like you said, that injury's bothering him pretty bad. Um, Jamal Charles, I don't know what he can do against Detroit. I know Detroit has a really good run defense, so it may be another really bad day for Kansas City.
Okay, next game, Chicago at New Orleans. Jay Cutler, he looked surprisingly pretty good against the Falcons. He made the plays that need to be made to win the game. He took advantage of the defense. Their defense looked pretty beastly again with Brad Urlacher back there, which they said he might not play, but it's been confirmed that he's going to play because of his death in the family. I just think, but playing it in New Orleans, it's going to be loud, and I think the Saints are just too good to lose to the Bears. So I see Cutler going to struggle big time and throw a couple picks. So I'm going to take the Saints in this one at home. So what about you, Ryan?
I'm actually going to take the Bears in this game, and I think that Jay Cutler, he really impressed me a lot last week, and I think he's going to be making those big throws again in this game. The New Orleans Saints pass defense is absolutely horrible. I mean, they have injuries across the board in their secondary, and I think Breeze is going to have a really good game. I mean, he's Drew Brees, and I don't think it's going to become a shootout. That's why I think Chicago's going to win. Chicago has a really good defense, and I don't know if you know this or not, but it seems like every time a player loses someone close to him and his family, he has an amazing game. So I look for Brian Urlacher to have a really, really, really good game against New Orleans, and I think they're going to pull this win off.
All right, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the New York Jets. The Jags limped out week one with the win against Tennessee, but I don't see them doing so in New York. The Jets D, it was average last week. I mean, it was good. The D, I think it's too much for Luke McCown. Even with Jones-Drew running, I don't think he's going to do much. We'll just have to see. I think the D will pick up a lot of slack for Mark Sanchez because, I mean, it's Mark Sanchez. He's going to make those stupid, idiotic throws and interceptions. So I think the defense is going to have to bail him out of this game. So I'm going to be taking the Jets over the Jags. Who do you have in this game?
I have the Jets in this game. I just want to say something real quick. Maurice Jones-Drew is not at 100%. He only looked good because the Tennessee Titans defense is absolutely trash. It's sad for me to say that, but it is. If you noticed, Maurice Jones-Drew was on the sideline mostly the whole second half, and they were only using him when they needed him. So he is not at 100%, and the Jets defense, while it wasn't amazing last week, but you got to remember, you got to give credit to your Cowboys. They have a really good offense, and I mean, the Jets are going to shut down teams like Jacksonville, and I mean, when you have to force Luke McCown to actually beat you through the air, I don't think he can do it. I mean, he did it against Tennessee, but like I said, horrible defense. So I think the Jets are going to win this game easily.
Next game we have Seattle at Pittsburgh. Okay, Tavares Jackson looked horrible. I knew he was going to look horrible. Coming in this game, I think the Steelers are going to want to redeem themselves against a horrible Seahawks team. I just see the Pittsburgh defense, having a big game. Like right now, I'm calling 3 picks and multiple sacks. I see Big Ben getting back on track. Nothing really much to say. I'm taking the Steelers in this one. Who you got in this matchup?
Yeah, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I got Pittsburgh too. I mean, they're playing Seattle. Pittsburgh lost week 1. They're going to want to bounce back. They're not going to lose a lot of games this year. They're going to dominate Seattle, and there's really nothing much to say about that. I mean, Tavares Jackson is horrible. They have no run game. They have no pass game. Their defense while it's okay against the run, I mean, they have no chance against Pittsburgh. I will go out on a limb and say that Pittsburgh will win but this game by at least 20 to 30 points, and I'm not even joking.
All right. Next, we got Baltimore at Tennessee. After last week's killing in Pittsburgh, I'm almost a believer in Flacco. I mean, I don't think it was a bad day for Ben. I mean, I just think it was just Flacco just owning the defense. Titans didn't have much of a run game last week, so they're not gonna get that started either this week against Baltimore. So if Hasselbeck can make some, key throws to Kenny Britt, they might have a chance, but I don't think they're gonna have really that much of a chance. So I'm gonna be taking Baltimore. It's gonna be an ugly game, I think, just like a few years ago. So it's going to be one of those low-scoring games, but Baltimore's going to come out on top, I think. What about you?
I never do this, but I'm going against my team here, and I'm going to take Baltimore. I don't think Chris Johnson's going to be ready yet until another week or two. I think week 3 will be our first win. I actually think we're going to get killed this game. I think Baltimore's going to completely shut down Chris Johnson. And Ray Rice is just, I mean, if Maurice Jones-Drew dominated us on a, 85% health, I mean, what is Ray Rice going to do to us? It's scary to think about, but it's the truth. I think our only real shot in this game, I think, is if our two defensive ends, Jason Jones and Derek Morgan, come back from injury and they play well. I think if we can get a pass rush going on Flacco, we might have a chance. We're going to have to get Chris Johnson going, but I just don't see it happening. I mean, Kenny Britt's going to be Kenny Britt, hopefully. I hope he gets some big catches. I hope he gets a score or two, but I think Baltimore's going to win this game. And it's sad to say, but I think we're gonna get killed, like I said.
All right, next game we have Arizona at Washington. I think the Cobb era has officially started in Arizona. The team looked, I mean, at least the offense looked really good against that Panthers defense. Beanie Wells, he had a good game. He's gonna get on track this week, I think. I'm still not buying the Rex Grossman passing game. I mean, I don't care what happened last week, even though it was. I mean, it's tough to play in Washington, but I see Kolb finding Fitzgerald quite a few times in the air. So I see how that's going to play out. So I'm going to be taking the Cardinals. Who you got in this game?
I'm actually going to take Washington. I don't see how you can let a rookie throw on you for almost 500 yards. I mean, I know Cam Newton is going to be he's probably going to be good in this league one day, but right now he's not. And to let him do that to you, a rookie, it's pathetic. And I think Rex Grossman, while he's not amazing and he's not even average, I think he's going to have a really good game against Arizona. And I think Washington's defense is really good. And I really like they have Tim Hightower, and I really like his threat. And he's a dual threat to catch the ball and to rush the ball. And I actually just gave him up in fantasy, so I hope he doesn't have a good game, but I think he will. So I think Arizona, I think if they do have a shot in this game, it's going to be through the air. Beanie Wells might get going, but I think Washington has a really good rush defense, so not too sure. But I got Washington in this game.
All right, we have Dallas at San Francisco. Cowboys, they almost played perfect last week against the Jets until the late Romo interception. He did have that fumble, but I can, see where he wanted to make that play to get the touchdown, but you just sometimes have to take the sack and take that field goal. Alex Smith, he looked okay, but Ted Ginn, he won that game for him. With the evidence of Rob Ryan's defense last week against the Jets, I think they have a real shot at just dominating San Francisco. A couple picks, some sacks for sure. I see Rex Ryan, putting some pressure on him. So I just see, Romo making a big statement game. So I'm taking the Cowboys in a big one. Who do you have in this one?
Yeah, I got Dallas too. I think Tony Romo's going to redeem himself this game, and I think Dallas's defense will be too good for Alex Smith, and I don't think Frank Gore is going to get anything going in this game. So, and Ted Ginn's not going to repeat that performance he had. I mean, he may be a good return man, but it's just you're not going to get that every week, and you can't expect you to win games on special teams unless it's kicking. So I got Dallas winning this game. Tony Romo's going to have a big statement game, and I think that Jason Witten's going to have a big game too because they're trying to cover their receivers, and Witten's going to be wide open in the middle. So I got Dallas in this game.
All right, next game, Cincinnati at Denver. Andy Dalton, he might not be starting, so because that injury last week in Cleveland, they're not sure, so he's probably a game time decision, but I think with Gronkowski at quarterback, I think he pretty much, proved himself in Oakland. I mean, which I thought, but I guess Oakland didn't care. Orton did not look good Monday night. I really think it's time to put the team on Tebow and give him a chance. But until then, I think Broncos have a slim chance at winning, but I think they have more weapons, to win this. So I'm taking the Broncos all the way. Who you have in this game?
I'm going to take Cincinnati, actually. I think Cedric Benson's going to have a really big game against Denver. I mean, you saw what Darren McFadden did to him. I think Cedric Benson's going to have a really big game, and especially if Andy Dalton's not playing, I think they'll feed him the ball a lot. You're right, Cal Orton didn't look good. He only looked good near the end of the game where he had to drive the ball in the rain when they're all chanting Tim Tebow's name. It's not going to be long before Tebow's under the reins at quarterback, so I don't think Denver's going to have a really good year this year, and I think that Cincinnati is going to come out with another big win here against Denver.
Okay, next game we have Houston at Miami. I'm gonna go. I'm taking the Texans all the way. Matt Schaub, he had a big game against Indy, totally blew him out with the passing attack. Chad Henne, he looked pretty good. I'm not gonna lie against the Patriots, but basically that one extra play, that turnover is gonna happen, and if that happens, you're gonna lose the game. I still don't see Chad Henne doing anything against Wade Phillips' revamped defense. I think he's done some good stuff in Houston, and he's making people say wow. So I'm gonna go ahead with the Texans. Who you have in this one?
Okay, I got Houston too, but let me just say this: if any game is going to be a shootout this week, it's going to be Houston and Miami. I think that Chad Henne, while he wasn't on Tom Brady's level last week, he was really good, and I mean at times he looked horribly inaccurate on some passes, but I mean that's going to happen. But I think Houston's pass defense got pretty much bailed out last week. They had to play against Kerry Collins, who was absolutely horrible, as I said, and I think, I mean, their secondary, I think, is just one of the worst in the division, if not the league. So I think Miami's going to find, I think Chad Henne's going to find Brandon Marshall a lot, and Tavon Bess, and Brian Hartline, Anthony Fasano, Reggie Bush out of the backfield. I think they're all going to have pretty good games, and I think Houston's getting Arian Foster back this week. So, I mean, if they want to slow the game down a little bit, they can get the run game going, and I think Matt Schaub's going to have a really big game as well. So it's probably going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a shootout. I hope it is. It'll help my fantasy team a lot. So I'm going to take Houston.
Next game is Philadelphia at Atlanta. It's Sunday Night Football. It's going to be a big night. Michael Vick returns to Atlanta as a starter. That's the whole storyline. He'll have a lot of supporters there, so I'm not going to even talk much about this. The Falcons looked horrible last week. I don't see them, regaining anything. I think they're going to have one more loss at least this week. So I think Vic is just going to continue, whatever he was doing. I think Vic will have a huge game with Deshaun Jackson. So I'm just going to be taking the Eagles in this one. What about you?
I'm going to take the Eagles too. Wasn't it like out of character to see the Falcons not score an offensive touchdown? I mean,
yeah,
it's just, I couldn't believe that. I mean, Matt Ryan, I think they as a team declared that they were going to be in every game this year and score a lot of points, and they didn't score a single offensive touchdown. It's kind of uncharacteristic, but I think Michael Vick's going to have a really good game. I mean, he's coming back to his real home as a starter this time, and I think he's just going to play lights out. I mean, their rushing attack is probably going to be tops in the league by far. You got LaShawn McCoy and Michael Vick, both probably going to rush for close to 1,000 yards this year. And I think if Atlanta is going to have any shot in this game, they're going to have to get the run game going with Michael Turner. Philadelphia's run defense is probably their only weakness on the team. I think that if they can get that going, they might have a chance. But Matt Ryan's going to have to step it up, and Roddy White's going to have to get his head out of the grass and do something in this game if they're going to win. But I got Philadelphia.
All right, last game of the week, we had the St. Louis Rams at the Giants. Steven Jackson, he's going to be out day-to-day pretty much because of his injury. I don't see them running much against the Giants. Eli's going to be Eli. He's going to throw picks. But I see him making it up this week and having a big game at home. Sam Bradford, he looked okay first week against Philly. It looked like he was going to surprise us and come out with a win, but he failed. But I just see the Giants getting back on track and coming out with a win in this week. Who do you have in this last game?
I have the Giants. I feel really, really bad for Rams fans. I mean, not only did Steven Jackson get hurt, and he is not going to play in this game, by the way. I know you said he's day to day, but he's going to be out this game. And not only did they lose Steven Jackson for this game, but they also have Sam Bradford, he's banged up. He's going to play though. Jason Smith, their top right tackle, is out for at least 3 weeks. Danny Amendola and Ronald Bartel both out for the year. I mean, those are some pretty big injuries for the Rams, and I don't think that with all these plethora of injuries that they have, that they can contend with the Giants at home. And I think the Giants are going to want to make a big statement at home since they lost to Washington last week. And it's going to be Monday Night Football. They're going to be on national television, and I think the Giants are going to have a big game, and they're going to come out with this win. I don't think Cadillac Williams can rush on the Giants, so it's going to suck not having Steven Jackson in there. But yep, 0-2 for the Rams and 1-1 for the Giants. All right, guys, that ends week 2 of Chase and Ryan's Pick'em. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we all hope you have great fantasy games, and hopefully maybe our picks have helped you decide who to take for your week's picks. And be sure to check the annotation above or in the description below to watch the game of the week, week 2, which is going to be the San Diego Chargers at New England Patriots. We'll see you next week, guys. Peace.